Is it possible that Grogu was in Star Wars Rebels before he ever made his live-action debut? Grogu was introduced in 2019 in The Mandalorian Season 1 and quickly became a fan-favorite character. But what if I told you he was actually in the show Star Wars Rebels that ended in 2018, over a year and a half before the tiny green baby made his first ever appearance? Because if you look at this image, it clearly shows a Grogu-shaped figure in the drawings related to the World Between Worlds behind Sabine Wren, who is set to appear in the Ahsoka show this August. Now, what does all this mean? Well, stick around to the end of this video and I will tell you how I think this is foreshadowing not only Grogu's importance in the Mandoverse, but also Grogu's importance in the post-sequel time period. Grogu, the World Between Worlds, the future of the Mandoverse, and Star Wars in general could have been teased all the way back in Season 4, Episode 13 of Star Wars Rebels. So for a little context in what is going on right now, this is the World Between Worlds episode, when Ezra Bridger goes into the World Between Worlds to save Ahsoka Tano from her fight versus Vader that took place over 2 years before. But while all that craziness is happening, we see Sabine get captured by the Empire, who are trying to get into the Jedi Temple on Lothal. And Minister Varys Hayden, who is the man in charge of this excavation at the Jedi Temple on Lothal, was asking Sabine for help to figure out what these drawings outside the Jedi Temple actually mean. Now, in this scene, Sabine and the Minister are looking at a painting of the Mortis gods from the Clone Wars, the father, the son, and the daughter. Ezra Bridger used the Force to change this painting on the side of the temple on Lothal to enter the World Between Worlds. But that's not what we're talking about today. This all might have been a distraction to keep us from noticing Grogu behind Sabine's head. Now, this is another drawing or painting that is on the side of the Lothal temple that clearly is a Grogu-shaped object. Now, right away, people will just say, well, that's just Yoda. He's been a Jedi for hundreds of years, and that would make sense that they made drawings of him. But this Jedi Temple on Lothal has been there for thousands of years and has a very strong connection to the World Between Worlds, and the closer and closer you look at the picture, the more and more it looks like Grogu, not Yoda. So let's talk about the timing of this possible Grogu appearance. Season 4 of Star Wars Rebels was released in 2018. In The Mandalorian Season 1, or Grogu's debut, was in 2019. So at the same time that Rebels was finishing up production, The Mandalorian was already being produced, meaning the idea for the character named Grogu was already in the works. And a small Easter egg like this could easily be done, and let's be honest, it's Dave Filoni and he does Easter eggy stuff like this all the time. Also, when you look at the drawing itself, it looks like Grogu sitting on the Seeing Stone, like we saw in Chapter 14 of The Mandalorian Season 2, The Tragedy, when Din and Grogu went to the ancient Jedi Temple on Tython. Now, I'm sure you're saying, Mike, that scene with Grogu on the Seeing Stone took place years after Star Wars Rebels did. But with the World Between Worlds, time does not really mean anything. For example, when Ezra first goes into the World Between Worlds in this episode, he hears Obi-Wan, Yoda, Rey, and Kylo, people who aren't even around yet. It is also possible that this painting is referring to something that hasn't happened yet. With the surrounding drawings referring to the World Between Worlds, maybe Grogu himself will have an interaction with the World Between Worlds. The Ahsoka show is coming out in August, and not only will it be like Rebels Season 5 because almost the entire Ghost crew will be there, but she will also be going into the World Between Worlds, meaning it is still possible to enter the World Between Worlds. Which leaves the possibility for Grogu further down the line when he's older to learn about the World Between Worlds or even enter the World Between Worlds. Now, all of this sounds a little crazy. Just because a brief Easter egg kind of looks like Grogu in Season 4 of Star Wars Rebels, I think that Grogu is going to go into the World Between Worlds. But it's Dave Filoni, and he does crazy. You have to remember, Dave Filoni invented the World Between Worlds. He also created Lothwolves that have a strong enough connection to the Force to pretty much teleport people. He also made the Purgles, which are just giant space whales that can travel through hyperspace. And in the Ahsoka show, which comes out in August, he is bringing a whole new spot outside of the Star Wars galaxy to canon called the New Beyond, where Thrawn and Ezra have been trapped this entire time, and where the Night Sisters originated from. So yeah, this guy knows crazy. He eats crazy for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So I don't think it's that far-fetched to think that Dave Filoni would throw in an Easter egg of Grogu in one of the greatest episodes of TV ever. Because he was a writer and producer on The Mandalorian Season 1, so he knew that Grogu was coming. But what do you think? Is it possible that this drawing could be of Grogu, and this could be referring to a future prophecy that Grogu could be going in to the world between worlds? Or do you have another explanation for this weird painting that looks like Grogu that is behind Sabine Wren, that was on the Jedi Temple on Lothal, that has an entrance to the world between worlds? Tell me what you think in the comment section below. Smash a like on this video if you liked it. Hit subscribe and hit that bell so you get notified every time I post a video. Whoever this is supposed to be in this drawing, it clearly wasn't an accident that this drawing was in this episode that was heavily involved with the world between worlds. And of course, tell me in the comments, but if you want more, check out this video I just did about Moff Gideon possibly being a clone and still alive after The Mandalorian Season 3.